The first bombs fell on a Tuesday. That little detail would later confuse the Galactic Strategic Council for decades. According to their perfectly calculated models, humans were supposed to panic. Civilian morale should have collapsed within minutes. Supply chains should have fractured. Governments should have begged for a ceasefire before the third wave even arrived. But they didn't. Instead, traffic reports continued. Coffee shops reopened within hours, even with boarded-up windows. And somewhere in the ruins of a coastal city, a man put up a handwritten sign that read, "Still open, cash only." The Varelian High Command watched this unfold in utter disbelief. Their fleets had executed a textbook orbital bombardment precision strikes, infrastructure disruption, targeted population centers. It wasn't enough to wipe out humanity, just enough to break them, or so they thought. Why are there no mass evacuations? One analyst demanded, staring at the live feeds. Why are their networks still functioning? The Admiral hissed, and why are their broadcasts still live? On every surviving screen across Earth, the same message appeared from the United Earth Council. There was no screaming, no desperation, just a calm spokesperson standing before a cracked backdrop. This is not a drill. Yes, we are under attack. Emergency protocols are active. First responders are deploying. If you are in a shelter, remain there. If you are not, help someone who is. Then she paused, just long enough for the translators to catch it. And to whoever thought this would make us panic, you clearly don't know us. The second wave of bombs struck even harder. Power grids went dark, cities burned. Casualties climbed into the millions, and still no panic. Instead, humans organized, neighborhoods formed, supply chains overnight, sharing food and medicine. Retired soldiers pulled old dusty equipment from storage. Engineers bypassed destroyed infrastructure with solutions that looked messy and inefficient. But they worked. The Varelians noticed something deeply unsettling. Every strike seemed to make human resistance stronger, more unified. Encrypted human communications spiked not with pleas for mercy, but with tactical coordination. Factory output actually increased in underground facilities the Varelians hadn't even known existed. Civilian ships began refitting themselves into something that looked uncomfortably close to warships. Finally, a Varelian officer asked the question that hung heavy in the command center. Why aren't they afraid? The answer came from a dusty old data archive, pulled from Earth's own brutal history. Humans had endured plagues that killed millions. They had fought wars that flattened entire continents. They had survived disasters that rewrote coastlines. They had bombed themselves into ashes more than once and rebuilt anyway. Bombs didn't break humans. Bombs reminded them who they were. The third wave never launched, because that's when Earth responded, not with a grand speech, not with a desperate ultimatum, but with action. Human defense platforms long dismissed as outdated activated in patterns the Varelians couldn't predict. Civilian satellites suddenly became targeting relays. Mining lasers were repurposed into orbital weapons, and cargo haulers, massive and slow, slammed into Varelian supply ships at relativistic speeds. One by one, the invaders started losing assets. Confusion tore through the Varelian command. They shouldn't have the coordination for this. They shouldn't have the morale. They shouldn't be smiling in their combat footage. But they were. Human soldiers were recording messages from foxholes and ruined streets. This is for the hospital you hit. This is for my city. You should have left us alone. The final blow came not from Earth's military, but from its civilians. Millions of small independent craft launched from the planet. Not warships, not fighters, just supply vessels, private yachts, and repurposed shuttles. They flooded contested space, overwhelming the Varelian targeting systems with sheer numbers. Some were destroyed, many weren't. And right behind them followed Earth's true counterattack, focused, brutal, and lethally precise. When the Galactic Council finally intervened, it was too late to save the Varelians' pride. A ceasefire was declared. The human response was immediate and concise. Accepted. No celebration, no victory parade, just rebuilding. Later, during the post-war analysis, a junior Varelian strategist summarized the catastrophic failure in a single line that would be taught across the galaxy for generations. We mistook their fear for weakness. They had assumed panic was humanity's default state. They were wrong. Panic was what humans felt just before they acted. Bombs didn't make humans run, bombs made them decide. And once humans had decided, the war was already over. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.